Hey, Tom here, FlipAnything USA. So just going live, taking questions from anybody that has one. I actually field quite a few questions. People will write me, text me, whatever, and try to be available to everybody, not just everybody that's in my class. Everybody's got to start somewhere. I know some of you are starting with very little, and you're just getting yourself going, just getting interested in real estate, which I'm excited for anybody that does. I started at 19 years old. And became a millionaire, in about 7-8 years, something like that. And that was back in the 1980s, when $1 million actually bought a lot of stuff. Doesn't buy as much as it used to, but it is a great thing. So look, if you want to call in, that's my preference. Talk to people that call in. The whole reason I started mentoring is because I was helping so many people with the same problems over and over again by text and email that I kind of got tired of it. I thought I want to talk to the most people at one time as I can, and that's the vehicle that YouTube provides. Hey, if you just got here, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It helps the channel. And if there's anything you want to know about, anything you want to talk about, it could be economy, it could be about fake gurus, it could be about other guys that are real or that you consider real or you think are real. Also, by the way, I just did a nice interview yesterday, and he's already got it out. The guy's like a machine for putting out content, but that was Michael Zuber over on at One Rental at a Time. That's right here. If you get a chance, go to One Rental at a Time. This guy right here, nice gentleman, and you want to really hear from people that have actually been there and done that for real, and he's one of them. So look, who's watching here? What are you guys concerned with? What are you looking for? Is there anything you want to do? Is there anything you're concerned about? Have you bought your first property yet? Have you bought your 10th property yet? Have you made $1 million yet? If you're under 30, if you've been doing real estate for 5 years, you should be a millionaire. I'm telling you right now. And if you're not, then you're falling short of what you could be. Okay. If you're not familiar, you can go to my channel or my website, FlipAnythingUSA.com. This gentleman here, he made really made closer to $2.5 million on a single deal. But he'd done several six-figure flips prior to that. All these gentlemen here, hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, some of them. 34 years old, having his first baby. He's already a millionaire. It's very cool to see young people get to follow my path in real estate, becoming really good providers and being able to, just really enjoy life, I said in that interview I just had with Michael, I've hardly felt like I've even worked a day in my life because, the ease at which it's been to make money. And, what you don't know. And a lot of people, and by the way, this is one of the things, and I've got another video coming up. My son's actually working on editing it right now. A couple. I actually revisited an apartment building that I made just about $1 million on the other day. Hey, Leo, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you in here. So it's kind of nice. I went back and walked through a building that I made. I paid $130,000. No, I paid $210,000, and I sold it for $1,150,000, and made money while I held it. And so that video will be out in the next day or two, I think. And then also, which was really interesting, that's why I really like anybody wants to call in that. In fact, anybody that calls in here, I'll probably give you an extra discount if you do get in the mentorship, just for having some balls and getting out of your comfort zone and talking honestly here. But I'll kind of interview you just like you're applying for mentorship. I tell everybody just very straight and honest. That's the way I conduct myself, and that's how I don't want to swindle anybody. I don't want to I don't want anybody in my class under false pretenses. And I'm lucky enough that I've got a fantastic record, and I try to under promise and over deliver, and safest thing to do, anyways, to be quite honest. Oh yeah, thanks, Grant. Grant, you enjoyed the discussion. Yeah, I saw your comment in there. Actually, I just went through. I think I liked your comment, by the way. It's really a wonderful thing. I'm so lucky that I got involved with real estate at 19. And like I said, it's just been a fantastic life. And even if you get in late at 30, 40, 50, you know what? If you can pick up another few $100,000 or even a couple $1 million before you get to retirement age, it'll make your life a whole lot easier. I laugh. I bought a little Mercedes the other day. I bought it on a whim. And these are the kinds of things that you can do, when money's is not an object. It's really not an obstacle. It's like, gee, where am I going to park it? Am I going to be able to keep it under those are the kind of problems you have when you're rich. It's like, not whether you can afford the car or not. It's kind of like, shit, where am I going to park this thing? It's good problems to have. So, hey, Josh, good to see you in here, by the way. Also, really nice, got a nice text the other day from, I want to say Josh now, but I think it was Austin. But he told me that, he said, I'm sorry I wasn't in class, but he said that deal I got for total outlay of cash, $50,000. And he just said, I just closed it for 126. So now there's another young guy, and he had 2 deals in the works, but he made $76,000. And all you got to do is do that a few times, a year, and believe me, your next year is going to be even better and more lucrative and more profitable. Chris, who wrote me, is on vacation right now, and it was really a nice sentiment. I told him I have the same sentiments. He says, man, I'd really like to invest with something with you, Tom, just so I can. He's already done really, really well, and I tell you, his success, and everybody watching here, believe me, when I see you succeed, you just can't believe how rewarding it is for my heart, because, listen, I've been a rough, hard-working guy my whole life, and, I haven't always been perfect. I haven't always been the most generous, and obviously, so it's just very rewarding to, instead of just concentrating on taking and making, to be able to help people get there, where I've already been for a long time. So look, man, somebody that has never called in, step out of your comfort zone here and call up. Don't worry, there's no dumb questions. It doesn't matter if you're super green or maybe you've been investing for 40 years or 50 years. Call in. Let's talk about it. It's interesting to those that are watching. Or come up with a topic or a question, and I'm happy to address it. The topic we were on the other day with Michael, and I urge you to watch this, by the way. I'm going to show you again here, right here. It was about this. It's about, what's worse, fake gurus or doomers, right? You got article readers, as I call them, and then you got fake gurus, guys that say things are easy that they have no experience in or next to none or just enough. They've taken, whatever. They've copied somebody else's shit and then and pretend it's their own. It's believe me, you gotta, if you really, really want to prosper, you want to have a mentor that you can call up that actually knows what it's like being in those shoes. And Chris Crone, who I'm not a fan of, I remember he did a thing and he talked about having some sort of mentorship. What's a mentorship? Where you don't get to talk to him, because his phone would, in quote, blow up, which in all honesty, I don't think he could answer any questions. I don't think he knows what he's doing. I think if you wanted to learn how to promote and make very much with very little, he'd be a great guy. In other words, go out there and get the phone to ring and put your sales guys on it, or clobber them with emails and try to talk people into cashing in their 401k or taking their, borrowing money on their home so they can invest and make as much or maybe less with an investment with somebody else. I think that Chris would be fantastic. Just like, and that's why a lot of times you'll see the collaborations with Grant Cardone. What you do is you see people that really aren't interested in what Grant Cardone knows about real estate, because he doesn't really know anything. But what he does know how to do is fake it, and to encourage people to throw money and invest with him. Anyways. So Leo says, can you talk about markets that are infested with wholesalers? Well, that's houses probably number one, right? And it's not bad. I had a guy just text me a little while ago, and I'm expecting a survey from Daniel, who I'm talking about right now. And I could already tell by just the tone of what he was writing that he's already probably bought into some of the bullshit that he's got off of YouTube University. Now, like people say, oh, you can learn everything on YouTube, for free. And that's not true. Listen, you can learn a lot, but you can also learn a lot of bullshit. And listen, that's why I always talk about fake gurus. Is the only thing worse than than giving a fake guru money is taking their advice and throwing some big money at some stupid direction. That was probably the worst of the worst things that you could do. But so on wholesaling, I don't know. You got any wholesalers out there that want to call in, and we talk about it. If there's anybody out there, let's see, Angel just wrote, talk about your experience in 2008, 2010, and what are your thoughts on this new cycle? That's a great topic, and we'll come back to that, Angel. Somebody just called in, so let's see where this call goes to. Okay. All right, caller, can you hear me?
Yes. Hello, Tom.
Hey, thanks for calling in. Who do we got on the phone here?
It's Austin. We actually talked a couple days ago.
Oh, Austin. Okay, you're in the class, Austin, or not?
No.
Okay, I have another Austin that's in the class. No big deal. So what's on your mind? What are you thinking about?
Well, there is this thing that is relatively close to what you're talking about, wholesaling. There's this piece of land in my hometown of London, Ontario, and I know you did a lot of that, and yep. I was just wondering what you think of it.
Okay, so you're in Ontario. I mean, you're going to have to refresh my memory on the specifics. So look, I bought a ton of property, and I'll be more specific. In fact, I'm going to go to Google Earth right now just so I can be more clear and talk more, on this subject. So tell me the particulars on the piece of land that you have.
Okay, well, there used to be, it's right next to a golf course.
Okay.
And it's an expensive area and an expensive road. And there was this big house, probably worth at least $1.5 million minimum. And right before COVID, they tore it down. And I thought they were going to build something on it, and it looks like they were trying to. And then COVID happened. And then...
do you know why it was torn down?
And then nothing... No, I don't know why it was torn down. I talked to a couple people. A couple think that they tore the house down because it's on a big lot, and they wanted to build like a small apartment complex or something. But that's just what I heard. And then it's been sitting vacant for the longest time. And the last time I went there, they did cut the grass, but before that, the grass was taller than me, and I'm like 6'1".
Well, that's all goes. That sounds like good stuff. I mean, that's kind of what you look for an opportunity is, and things like that stand out. But let's talk about that. Listen, you never really know for sure what's going on with a property, but you know that something's wrong. I mean, you don't build a house to tear it down. It's just something's amiss. There's already money lost, which is a good sign. Because if they lost that, then they're probably willing to lose more, or the situation is such that they're going to lose more anyways. But my point where I was going with this is, like sometimes a house will go down because of a fire, right? And even I've got a friend of mine, he had probably, 40,000 square foot office complex. One of the buildings burned down. Well, he was having trouble keeping the place fully rented anyways. And so insurance paid him for the building, not for the land, obviously, because land's still there, but he got fully compensated for replacement value of the building, which is more than what he could sell it for anyways. So he's not going to build it back. And so when you tell me about that house that you just described, first thing my mind goes to is maybe there's insurance involved. Maybe whoever built that thing, for whatever reason, maybe, they got insurance money. Maybe they got paid for the property. Maybe it's, it could be also that they built it on maybe a problem with where it's built, how it's built. Maybe it's not really something that can be occupied, even if it was finished. Or maybe it's kind of like the equivalent of a place that's burned down, and he's got his money out of it. In other words, he recovered his investment of the building aspect of it, and now he wants to just get rid of the lot. And so that can happen. You'll see a place burned down, and then you end up buying the lot, and I have this actual situation. I bought a property for $210,000 that I sold for $2.8 million. And this was a failed mobile home park. And it's like, gee, where'd all the trailers go? Now all the trailers are gone. There's still septic tanks in the ground and all kinds of stuff to support that place. But again, this is where the money is made, is usually in, I talk about all the time, it's a lot of D words, but, it can be, it can just be, it can be depression, it can be death, it can be death of a deal, it can be a bankruptcy, and, so you may have something there. So, you just got to get a hold of the owner on that as quick as possible and find out what's really going on.
How would you recommend I do that? I heard one guy that he was into apartments that I live close to. He was saying that I could go to the court office and I could give them $30 and they can tell me his name and number.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true. I mean, it used to be the records were very open access all across the USA. Everywhere there's a county, everywhere there's a taxpayer, and you have taxpayers.
Oh, I'm in.
But Canada, you guys.
I'm in Canada.
Yeah, I know it's different, but it doesn't mean everything's different. But you if you can get access to the tax records, who owns it? Because everybody's got an address. Every piece of property out there, there is a bill. There is an address attached to that vacant piece of land. I don't care how far away it is from civilization. There's an address attached to it of where a tax bill goes. And so, so you just got to find out the tax info and get a hold of that owner. And once you get the owner's name, like I say, if you can't, send them a letter, but also, spend another $10, $20 on Bin Verified or something like that and try to find them that way. But and don't waste any time. And don't waste any time. Do it as soon as you get off the phone. It's seriously, the time kills deals. That's the number one thing, and anybody, my students know that. I say it all the time. Time kills deals. Don't waste any time. Don't talk about it or think about it too much. Just get on it. So, but yeah, Austin, I appreciate it.
I mean, I've been trying to, before I contact the guy, because what you were saying about before you talk to him, you have to know exactly what it's worth, so you know what you have. So I've been trying to figure out how much this piece of land is worth. I mean,
listen, I do say that all the time. This is true. But before you talk money with him, you need to know that. But there's nothing to stop you, right? I mean, listen, right now you're wasting time thinking about, listen, don't waste your time trying to figure out what the value is when you don't even have his name or his address. You know what I mean? You're wasting your time right now. Yeah, go get a hold of the guy, find out, and say, you own this property? Say, oh, yeah, I do. Say, hey, I'm just wondering why the house never got built. You know what I mean? I may be interested in buying it. And say, oh, okay, well, make me an offer. Say, okay, well, then that's when you go, okay, great, this guy's open to sell. And now you go spend some time. You know what I mean? In other words, I try to get everything signed or at least have a very strong indication that we can make a deal. It's just crazy to research. Believe me, so many of these programs out here and these fake gurus push these lists, and I get these goofballs calling me, hey, I got this great deal, Tom. And, it's because they got a program that compares the listing price to the Zillow estimate, and they're out of whack. And they're saying, oh, look, they're asking less than it's worth on Zillow. It doesn't mean shit, but it gets some of these people kind of wet and excited over nothing. It's terrible. But so
I don't think you want to look up the address on Google if you want.
Well, I mean, if you now listen, this would be really really a bad idea. If somebody in your area, you're gonna like sharing your treasure map. Well. I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yes. We might do it here, and then while we're doing this, somebody's getting a hold of the owner and making a deal. So yeah, you don't want to do that. But no, I appreciate you calling in, Austin. And hey, the good thing is that you're interested in real estate. How old are you?
I'm 19, but I've been interested in real estate ever since I was 12 or 13. I've been really wanting to get into it. Yeah,
well, that's very similar to my own story. I bought my first property when I was 19, but I'd already looked at books by Wade Cook and Albert Lowry and Dave Delgado and these guys that were kind of the the thing back then. And I actually had my mother's boyfriend was interested in real estate, so I started kind of getting an inkling toward that just even when I was probably 15, but it was because he was interested in real estate. He was probably 40 at the time or 35 at the time. He's dead now. But it was, it's just, man, the sooner the better. Listen, this is why I've been so blessed, is that I actually learned what I learned and found out the potential when I was 19 years old. And now you're the same age. You know what I mean? You should be. And you're doing the right thing. You're on the right path. You're on the right path. So, and you might be moving to the States, correct?
Yeah, I'm the one. I mean, what I'm thinking of, what I want to be doing is I want to, it's going to be kind of hard for me. It's going to be harder than I thought to move to the States. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to Newfoundland, and I'll get a job that I'll get a month off every other month, and then I'll fly down to the States and try to find some deals and stuff.
Yeah. Well, make it work how you can. You make money where you're at too. Don't forget that. You can make money where. I mean, I've got guys in Spain that are in my class that have made money, and you can make money anywhere, in Australia and other places too. So yeah, you can do it anywhere. But yeah. So man, dive in, and I know you already got the book, but just don't take your eye off the ball, right, so to speak. Don't take your eye off the ball, and it'll serve you well. That I'm sure of. So, anybody else?
Sorry to take up so much of your time, but
you thought what?
I was sorry to take up so much of your time, but I mean, how do you think I should go about trying to figure out how much is worth if I do have a deal? Because I'm getting there's people thinking it could be worth $300,000 to $500,000, which is probably where it is.
Yeah, I mean, there is no hard rule of thumb. I mean, but the fact is that if it has a $1.6 million home on it, I would say on average the lot's going to be at least 25% of the value. You know what I mean? So it's probably
but that was before COVID. Probably at least 3 now.
Well, I mean,
if it was still there.
Listen, if it's got power, if it's got sewer, and it does have those things, because they wouldn't be building the house otherwise. But you need to double check that and confirm that. But yeah, you sound like you got something good. But the way it's just, listen, this is how an appraiser does it. They look at what's on the market, what's for sale on the market, and what's sold. That's all you can do is go look at your real estate agent listings, or I don't think you guys probably call it the MLS, but whatever the system is there in Canada for looking at property, just do that. And just find out what's for sale, what's sold, and what's in the neighborhood. And then, you're going to look at like kind, right? Like kind size, like kind, if it's a view property, a lake property, or on the golf course, you got to look at like kind. And then you'll be able to figure it out. And that's part of the work that you got to do. This is the work part of making a fortune in real estate, is you got to know value. So you got my book, just study the book and do that. And that's where you go. That's where you go.
Okay, I guess that's it. I mean, wait, so you said like a third of a house's value is the land?
No, I said that
usually.
I said actually 1/4. I said on average, usually you'll spend $400,000 on if you're going to build a $1.6 million house on it. But there's listen, it's never the same everywhere. There's people that'll listen. I saw a place in Venice, California. They spent the $1.8 million to tear down the house and built a $8 million property, but it wasn't much more than a $200,000 or $300,000 build. So they still made $500,000. But so it doesn't mean anything. That's not a hard rule you can follow at all. So you just need to do some look at lots, buildable lots that are for sale in that area that are comparable to the one you got, and if there's builders out there, go visit a builder and ask him what he paid for his lot, and what he would be willing to pay for a similar lot, that sort of thing. But all right,
okay.
I'm going to let you go, Austin. But thanks, buddy, and good luck on that. I hope you get it. I hope you make a deal that makes sense.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yes, sir. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Yep. Bye. So back to Lifeversity wrote. Let's see, what did he write? Let's see. Hey, Tom, how are you feeling about the economy? I feel great. CPI, reading this tomorrow along with, I think if there is, I didn't even know there's a CPI reading. Okay. Anyways, I don't think the rates are going down, and I wouldn't be surprised if actually they went up. But back to Angel here to talk about your experience in 2008, 2010. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. So at that time, I got to put my head on to think about that. I actually bought quite a few properties at that particular time. And so where you're talking about, in 2009, I actually bought this restaurant right here. Oh, let me make sure you can see it. This restaurant. This is a restaurant I bought. Great location on a 5-lane road. This was a bar. And, I got a really good interest rate on this thing. But also at the same time, I had gotten this property under market. And this was a heartbreaker for me because I really wanted it. But I had too many irons in the fire. But basically you can see right here, this was like one of the most beautiful properties you can imagine. And for the reasons I'll explain. It was like an island like this, and then it cut over, I think, right about here. And then it had paved road all the way around. It was really a cool thing because it was like, if you can imagine having a pie tin, right? That the tin represents the road, but you don't have a full circle. You got 2/3 of a circle. And all you had to do was slice this thing up like a pie and make a lot. And everything had sewer and everything had water. So I actually had that under escrow, and I had done the work for the subdivision that you see here. Let me show you. Yeah, you'll see there's like some flag lots. See how that's like, there's a flag lot or two in here. A flag lot's where you got a lot behind another lot, where there's a little narrow road that takes you to it. Here's another flag lot right here. Comes in this way. There's the lot. There's a house in front of it. Anyways, it was just a beautiful thing. And then, the shit hit the fan, 2009. And so what happened, I just borrowed $3 million from Wachovia at like 5.5%. And, there was just, and I was all full. And I, like I said, I also just bought this restaurant right here that I was rebuilding. It was a work in progress. There was this is about I forget, maybe 70,000 square foot facility for dementia, Alzheimer's patients. So this was being built. I made a deal and I rented out this parking lot so they could stage the materials to build this place, because you can see they don't have a lot of parking. If you ever get to a retirement home, that sort of thing, they don't have a lot of parking because most of the people, especially dementia care, they don't have parking because they don't need it. There's just a handful of employees, and the people that are inside, they don't drive cars. And so they needed the staging area. So I rented this to these guys for $5,500 a month. And while they rented this parking lot, I rebuilt and cleaned up the property. And, you just get my head down, and, I had to pass on this property, unfortunately. I tried shopping it to a few other people because it was a great deal that I make several $100,000 just on the lot, flipping it. But everybody was sinking at the same time. And so the money wasn't available. People couldn't really do what they wanted to do. And I was becoming one of them because the limitations of the people that I would normally be extracting money from, they just didn't have it to extract. So anyway, so I hope that answers your question. But in comparison, that to where we're at today, it's not even the same. Today's not as bad as that was at that time. That was a big shakeup at that time. Right now, not so much. And you got to remember, I'm in an area where we're getting a little bit of a soft landing here. We still have a very strong industry where I'm at. A lot of high tech. I got Samsung, I've got Tesla, I've got AMD, I've got all kinds of people out here, and they do lay off still. But a lot of my properties, I've got a couple 100,000 square feet of rentals. Some houses, not so many houses, but I have more commercial, industrial, and it's stuff that's fully, surrounded by a population. So those are pretty safe investments that I have. So not too much. I'm just, I bought 3 houses in the last 3 or 4 months, and I'm still game to buy another house or a building. But I'm just, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the guys that have to, start refi their property and have a higher rate that the property can't support. and then the fallout from that is it goes back to the bank and or the desperation, however deep pockets they are to get out of it. And that's kind of what I'm doing. That's what I'm waiting for. So anything else? Anybody else got any other questions? Otherwise, I'll wrap it up here. But you can expect another video out here soon. Hey, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Helps channel. And anybody got any questions? I'm always happy. If I go live, listen, I'll just answer your question to the best of my ability. Been doing this a long time. I tell you, one of the things that makes me such a good and relevant mentor to people is that I buy the kinds of properties that you pass by every day. I got 58 apartment building units here. There's an industrial buildings, commercial, many residential properties. The kind of stuff you drive by every day. There's a fortune surrounds y'all. And just don't forget it. And be optimistic. Don't be a doomer. There is no bad real estate. There's just bad deals. Don't make a bad deal, and you'll make a fortune. See ya.
Stop and listen. Time is on a mission to eliminate all the snake oil and the fake gurus that fake y'all. He'll show you how to build an empire, starting with nothing but a desire. All you really need is a good mentor, not a used car bullshit. With time, you'll learn to crush it. Investing like Warren Buffett. With real estate, you cannot procrastinate. Everyone who hesitates is left at the starting gate. Hey, yo, so don't delay and join today. The mentorship and flip anything.